All right. Okay, my microphone's working this time. All right. And you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. The Philadelphia Eagles lost the Super Bowl because they suck. Philadelphia sucks. Rolls right off the tongue there, folks. Philadelphia sucks. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, especially now that I got my microphone situation. What's up? What's going on? Since I got my microphone situation working now, I'm going to try to shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw it in the chat box. Good. Glad you can hear me. No idea. It's all of a sudden I plug my microphone in, and as soon as I start talking on this microphone, the volume just plummets. So now every time I plug it in, I got to go and check and make sure that the volume on it hasn't plummeted. So it is what it is. I've gone over 800 videos. Most of them weren't live, but I mean, I've done probably a couple hundred videos with this microphone. Every time I plug it in, I start talking, we're good to go. Plug it in, talk, we're good to go. Plug it in, talk, we're good to go. All of a sudden, I plug it in and the volume just goes down. No idea. Scrabbling, don't force the ball like Mike. Teddy, there's Teddy. Teddy's my late night guy. Teddy, when I'm doing my videos at like 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to go over the 1988 season, the Al Toon season that just ripped the heart right out of you. Giants 21-20 lead. Jets get the ball. They start driving down the field. Giants need to make the stop. Giants can't give up any points. The Giants going to win the game. They'll win the division. They'll make the playoffs. And I don't know, whatever it was, under a minute to go. That was a Ken O'Brien, whoever it was. Al Toon in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Jets score 27-21. Just ripped the hearts right of us Giant fans. Another season down the dumper. So that'll be around 3:30 this morning in 1980. If you want to have your hearts ripped out, come on and join me at 3:30 in the morning. Oh, yeah. We'll all rip our own hearts out together. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. The second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I could use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. Next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, whatever you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top Facebook link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants of Gridiron. I say this in every video. My YouTube channel, Facebook group, my Facebook page, it's all called pretty much the same thing. It's all called like the New York Giants of Gridiron. It dumbs it down for a moron like me. That way I don't, what's my group called? My page called something different than the YouTube channel. It's all called the same thing, right? So in the group, the New York Giants of Gridiron, the group, we have over 4,200 members. I think that should start taking off a little bit here once we start getting into training camp and the preseason and all of that. But right now we're at 4,200 members. Usually what I do is after I get done going live here, I'll spend probably like the next couple of hours putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in a minute. And I try to get like about 10 things or so every day in the group and in the page, whether it's I share an article, it's a video, a post, a picture, something just showing some stats on a ball player. I try to get as much as I can in there, but yeah, I usually try to get up to like 10 different things in there every day. But if you become a member of the group, not only do I post stuff in there, but the members post stuff in there as well. So, I mean, every day, and basically, as long as I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in there 7 days a week, right? Pretty much almost every day of the year, I'm putting stuff in there. And the second Facebook link, that takes you to my Facebook page. All right. It's once again, it's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, but it's a page. So I'm the administrator. I'm the only one to post anything in there, but it's the same thing. I try to get up to at least 10 different things in here every day. As I said, same thing, whether it's I'm sharing a video, it's a post, a picture, just showing some stats on a ball player, something I'm going to go over here in just a second, right? I try to get up to 10 things in here every day if I can. And what are we at? We're at over 2,300 likes, and we're over 7,000 followers. We just hit the 7,000 follower plateau about a day or so ago. So that's really, really doing good. And I don't commingle them. So basically, the stuff, for the most part, the stuff that I put in the page, I don't put in a group. Whenever I put in a group, I don't put in a page. I try to keep them separate, right? So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and become a member, every day, pretty much 7 days a week, almost 365, you get a ton of New York Giants information every day. And if you're not, well, as I say this all the time, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done. I did see this one thing, and I did post in a bunch of these groups. And I'm not sure if this. I guess. I guess it's true, but it says, I saw a post here. It says, Kadarius Toney has suffered a knee injury during the Chiefs special teams practice today. I saw a couple different things. One, when he tweaked his knee, one was injured his knee, but I'm not sure, exactly, how true that is or whatever, but I did see that. I saw that in a couple different groups today. I mean, isn't that be funny? Karma's a bitch. Karma's a bi, you know what, right? That's him getting back at him, huh? He's a dog in a pony show. That's a guy. Yeah. So isn't that funny, right? He's getting what. No, I hate seeing anybody get injured, but I mean, it's just he's got it coming to him. Good old karma, right? I did see that. It's sort of this is weird. I mean, so who is this here? Oh, it's Giants Wire. Who wrote this article here? What we got? John Finelli says Giants Daniel Jones is one of the NFL's most accurate and inaccurate quarterbacks. So I'm not sure how that really works out. Says here, when it comes to Daniel Jones, the Giants' fifth-year quarterback, critics have varied opinion of him over his career. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Some believe he is an ascending player who will eventually lead the Giants to greater things. Others believe he is marginally talented, and what you've seen is what you're going to get. That latter opinion is illustrated in a recent breakdown by Pro Football Focus gauging the accuracy of NFL quarterbacks. Jones finished fifth in the accurate category at 64.6%. But at the same time, he was third overall in the uncatchable and inaccurate group at 15.2. Interesting. But also we got to remember too, he's not blessed with, guys that are going to get, 7 yards of separation every time he throws the ball. So some of these times he's got to be just throwing the ball into the dirt, throwing the ball away out of harm's way, anything just to avoid like a turnover. Accurate is defined as when a passer puts the ball on the receiver's frame so that he doesn't need to adjust or slow down to make the play and continue after the catch, which is huge. Because my goodness, especially if you got a guy who's like wide open, the last thing you want to do is he's cutting across, cutting across the field, and he's like, hey, hit me, I'm running. And then all of a sudden you throw the ball behind him, and he's got to make a leaping catch, and he's got to grab the ball, right? And then he catches the ball, but then he winds up falling down because he has to stop his momentum and come back and catch the ball. And then, of course, he gets touched down where he's at. Meanwhile, if you hit him in stride, he could yak it. He could yak it real good, right? He could, catch it in stride and take off and get a bunch of extra yards. So that's extremely important. Accurate passes have been completed 93.3% of the time since 2020. And also, Daniel Jones, with the Giants too. I know they've led the league. Well, not led the league. My bad. I think they've been up there as far as coming close to maybe leading league as far as like with drop passes too. So that's not helping him either. If he had, he was 64.6% on accurate passes, but if some of the guys weren't dropping balls, that would even be higher. Let's see here. Uncatchable and inaccurate is defined as even despite a I like this. This is good. An uncatchable and inaccurate is defined as even despite a Herculean effort from the receiver. So that's a heck of an effort, right? There's almost no shot of the pass being completed. That's fair. This includes overthrows and underthrows, as well as passes thrown too far in front or behind. Uncatchable and inaccurate passes have been completed 2% of the time since 2020. So that's not a good percentage. Fans have seen plenty of both from Daniel Jones over his 4 years here with the Giants. They are hoping he can graduate to the accurate plus group this season. Well, I said, some of it is also, he's not blessed with the greatest, bunch of wide receivers. A lot of them quite often don't get a ton of separation. So, he's got to be accurate. But some of those two were probably thrown into the third row or maybe thrown into the dirt or something just to get out of harm's way. But then again, we also see him throw a couple duds though too. But I'm sure even Tom Brady threw a dud every now and then. Right. So they said the same stuff about Phil. Yeah. He has all the tools to be. But he's working on his craft. And he's doing all. Is he doing all he can do? You got to pretty much say, yeah. Is that going to make him a Hall of Famer? No. Right? Is that going to put him up there with Patrick Mahomes? Probably not. Because a lot of it, is that especially the quarterback, it's that quick decision. So you can some guys they just got it. And Daniel Jones, it's tough to get that. So you can just see some of these great quarterbacks. They just like will a touchdown or they just the quick decision making and all of that. But also to be fair, now if we get Daniel Jones some better weapons, some faster speed, he also stays in the same playbook, right? For a couple seasons, he starts becoming more and more familiar. He'll be able to look at, okay, read one, he's covered. Okay, he's covered. Oh, over here, he can start scanning the field a little bit better. Maybe he can find the open receiver. Because I know I saw last year people put the YouTube videos out. I know I think it was one of them that I remember in particular. Like Daniel Jones was looking at somebody. Maybe somebody was cutting across the middle. He was focused over here. And like way down over the other side, then Darius Slayton was like wide open down the sideline, but Daniel Jones never even looked his way. So if he's in the same system for a couple of seasons, he starts getting more and more comfortable, familiar, and all of that. He can start looking around. That's one of the things he has to start doing a little bit better job of. I think start maybe scanning the field a little bit better and trying to find out his different wide receivers. Oh, he did. He's got great, but he can move. This guy, we have the right coach for him. Oh, yeah, I believe so. It's the same thing with Phil Simms. Look what Phil Simms did. Was Phil Simms the greatest quarterback of all time? No. Back in his day, would you rather have Joe Montana or how about Dan Marino? Would you rather like to have him too? Right. Of course, we we drafted Phil Simms in the same class that Joe Montana got drafted by the 49ers, right? But yeah, I mean, could you win with Phil Simms? Yeah, I mean, of course, it's let's not forget about the defense. Let's not forget about, who's on the defense for the Giants, which, let's not forget about the coach that we had and the defensive coordinator we had and all that. So, but, Phil Simms was a good quarterback. But then again, you can also say with Phil Simms too, how many Jerry Rices did Phil Simms have? None. I mean, it just, how many Odell Beckham Juniors did Phil Simms have? None, right? I mean, if Phil Simms had, Hakeem Nicks and Manningham and Cruz and Jeremy Shockey, and we had Bavaro, but, if he had Odell Beckham Jr., Phil Simms probably would have been a little bit better too. I mean, we didn't give him that. We necessarily helped Phil Simms out a whole heck of a lot during his career. We had some Stephen Baker and Odessa Turner and Mark Ingram and Callaway, right? And guys like that, Ernest Gray in the early 80s, but we didn't have nobody. I don't even know if any of those guys. Oh, Ernest Gray went to a Pro Bowl. I don't even think he did. I mean, went long stretches of periods of time with ain't none of them the giant receivers from the 70s or, so, we went a long time without getting some really good top quality receivers for the Giants, to help the quarterbacks out. Shockey, oh yeah. I mean, Shockey, Shockey was he was a mismatch. He was really, really good. But I mean, I say you look at some of these guys. I mean, a lot of it was just run like with the Giants back in the the 80s. I mean, it was run the ball, try to control the clock, don't turn the ball over, right? I mean, hopefully, maybe here and there you can hit some passes. Phil Simms obviously had some good passing days. I mean, he had 513 yards against the Bengals in 1985. So he had some obviously, he could throw the ball and all that, but I mean. A lot of times we didn't necessarily help him out with the wide receiver talent. Gary Collins gets overlooked. Yeah. Oh yeah, boy, he could fire that ball. I tell you, he had a good arm. He had a really, really good arm. That was a good pickup for us when we got him because we were floundering around from like 94 to 98. I guess it was because we got Collins in 99. I think it was. Yeah. So I'm like with Dave Brown from Duke. Graham, Danny Canal, we were kind of like in the wilderness years there with, those years for quarterback play wasn't really, wasn't super spectacular. Right. And of course we had to trade away our first round pick, to get, Dave Brown, that was also the same year that we traded, well, we got him, but we also in the second round pick we wound up getting was of course Michael Strahan, so not too bad. But all right, then I saw this here at 5. What we got here? 5 Saquon Barkley replacements for the Giants. The Giants can target in 2024. Let's see here. All right, the Giants and Saquon Barkley failed to reach a contract extension before Monday's deadline. Barkley is yet to sign the franchise tag of $10.1 million and is not expected to report to the Giants training camp next week or this week, shall we say. In a recent interview on the Money Matters podcast, Barkley discussed invoking the nuclear option and sitting out the 2023 season. Barkley indicated later in the interview that the nuclear option was unlikely because the financial ramifications would be enormous. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's not going to see $10.1 million. I mean, I don't know, what the taxes are and, what his agent might wind up getting and all of that. So he's not going to get, obviously, 10.1. He might get maybe 6 or 7 out of that, I guess, maybe, whatever. But, it's a nice chunk of change for him to wind up losing. And just because he sits out a season does not mean when he comes back in 2024 that people are going to, well, hey, you sat out a season, you're a year older, let's give you even more money. That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So it says Barkley future in New York is murky, but I said, once again, I mean, he could be as pissed off as he is and this, that, and the other thing and blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, I understand, but I said, look at the running back market. I mean, how many teams out there are going to give you I don't know what do you want, a 13, 14 million guaranteed per season? I mean, how many teams out there are going to give you that much money guaranteed over the long haul? I mean, he wants a nice long contract, 3-4 years. He's going to want what, 12, 13 guaranteed per season? I mean, how many teams are going to sign him to a 4-year deal? 4 years, 60 million. And of course, we got to guarantee like 48 million of it. I mean, or 45 of it. I mean, how many teams out there are going to do that? Probably not many, if any. Giant star will either receive the franchise tag again next year, which is $12.1 million. So I mean, between this season and that's $22 million guaranteed. If he gets hurt, plays one game, guess how much money he makes next season? $12.1 million. Right? Or he can enter free agency. So he can either get guaranteed $12.1 million from the Giants next season, or quite possibly get less money from another team. Quite possibly. I don't know many teams next season, after he's played another year of football, are going to guarantee him $12 million in a season. Barkley will likely play elsewhere if a contract extension is not reached next spring. With that said, here are 5 potential Barkley replacements New York can target in 2024. Got Damian Harris. The who is this? Fan-sided, G-Men HQ. I like to try to give some props here. I don't know who wrote Zach Musso, looks like, wrote the article here. So we got Damian Harris. The ex-Alabama star will reach free agency next spring and would be a solid fit for the G-Men. I'm going to add my own they got 5 guys here. I'm going to add my 6th. I got a 6th guy I'm going to add. Let's see. Damian Harris would be a solid fit for the G-Men. Damian was drafted by the Patriots in the 3rd round of the 2019 NFL draft and played 4 seasons in Foxborough. Harris rushed for 2,094 yards and 20 touchdowns as a Patriot. Solid, right? Harris signed a 1-year, $1.77 million deal with the Bills this offseason. Despite his production in New England, Harris received an extremely cheap contract. Yep. Unfortunately, but that's the way the running back market is. Yet another demonstration of the deteriorating running back market. Harris could come cheap again next offseason. Oh, yeah. And could serve as the leader of the running back committee in New York at 5'11", 213 pounds. Very, very solid. Harris is a physical back who gets tough yards. That mindset and playing style would fit perfectly in Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka's offense. The next guy, DeAndre Swift. Swift should have the freshest legs among all 2024 NFL free agent running backs after starring at the University of Georgia. The Lions drafted Swift in the 2nd round of the 2020 draft. Due to various injuries, Swift played in just 40 games over 3 seasons in Detroit. In his Detroit career, Swift recorded 1,680 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns, 1,198 receiving yards, and 7 receiving touchdowns. So basically, in his career there, we got 17, almost 2,900 total yards. Very solid. The Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs with the 12th pick. April's draft. I can't believe they took a running back at the 12th pick overall. Oh, my goodness. And signed ex-Chicago Bear David Montgomery. Very good pick there, which made Swift expendable. Detroit traded Swift into his hometown team this spring, the Philadelphia Eagles, where he will undoubtedly become a nightmare for the Giants in 2023. Even if Swift plays all 17 games this season, he will be 25 years old and have just 57 games under his belt when he reaches free agency again. So that's a possibility. Their 3rd guy here is Trey Benson. With the running back market in shambles, Shane may opt to find Barkley's replacement in the 2024 NFL draft. This is basically where I was going to go. So a blueprint has been laid out for the NFL general managers regarding running backs in the last half decade. Draft a running back, let him play out his rookie contract, then let that player hit free agency and draft a new young and cheap running back. Yep. The 2024 NFL draft has a ton of intriguing backs, including Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, Braylon Allen from Wisconsin, Arkansas's Raheem Sanders, Ohio State's Mayan Williams, and Trevayon Henderson. But Trey Benson is currently the leader of the running back class. Well, if he's the leader, I'm not sure if the Giants are going to be taking him in like the second round or something like that. I don't know about that. Benson, 6'1", 221 pounder, spent his freshman season at Oregon before transferring to Florida State, where he rushed for 990 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2022. He has a chance to build upon that in 2023 and should play in a lot of high-profile games for Florida State in 2023. A team projected to be ranked in the top 10 of the preseason AP poll. So that's somebody to keep an eye on. Then they got the big one here, the big one, Mr. Henry, right? Derrick Henry, the 2024 free agent class is on pace to be historic. Yes, and one more time. Yes, for running backs, yeah. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, and quite possibly Saquon Barkley. Holy cow. Are all NFL stars and are set to become free agents next offseason. That is likely not good for these running backs. The supply is rich, so the contracts will all be diminished. Yep. If the Giants don't sign Barkley and want to stay in the star running back market, they could pivot to Henry. Henry will be 3 years older than Barkley next offseason, so... And Henry's has had a lot of usage over the years too. So he will likely demand fewer years and less money on his contract. Henry's a backfield monster and the NFL's best power running back throughout 102 NFL games. So he's had a lot of touches. Henry has 8,335 yards and 1,750 carries and 78 rushing touchdowns. What a freaking monster. What a monster. My goodness. Henry played just 8 games in 2021, the fewest of his career, yet still recorded 937 rushing yards. Missing half of the season and still producing like a top 5 running back is ridiculous. Yes, he is. He's ridiculous. It demonstrates that Henry has elite value despite his climbing age. I mean, especially, you got him. If you can maybe a little slightly running back by committee. Obviously, he's going to get most of the carries. You got your passing game kind of opens up the running game. Henry might be a solid choice for the Giants. And then, of course, they got the first one is here, stay internal and go with Eric Gray. Now, I like that. With Barkley likely to sit out training camp this summer, Gray will receive a lot of reps and could quickly push Matt Breida for the backup role behind Barkley. The 5'9", 205-pounder is a bruising running back who rushed for 1,366 yards and 11 touchdowns during his senior season in Oklahoma. If Gray balls out in 2023, the Giants could sign a veteran to pair with the youngster and have them be focused at 2024. So, that's a possibility. I'm going to go back to that other, I'm not saying take the cream of the crop as far as running backs. I don't think the Giants need to draft Trey Benson. If they think Trey Benson is the cream of the crop, I don't see the Giants taking a running back. I don't know if Benson's going to go in the first round. That I don't know. He might go in the second round. But I don't see the Giants. So the Giants are going to start getting to the point, hopefully, let us pray, right? Where they only, where they're going to go in and they'll be like, okay, we just need a few more positions to fill here, right? If we let Adoree Jackson go, right? We might need a cornerback. Is there going to be a star wide receiver there for us? Maybe we can check off the number 1 wide receiver. If we draft somebody in the first round, maybe he could be the dog, right, for us, right? So maybe we can get a good wide receiver in the first round. Then you get a good cornerback to pair up with Deonte Banks, right? And then maybe if you want to add, some offensive line depth or get another inside linebacker in the third round, I'm sure you can get a good one there, or add some good defensive line depth or something, or maybe get a safety to pair up if you're not happy with the way the safety play was this year. If you're going to keep McKinney, so you got some options. But hey, right? We took Gray in the 5th round. Why not grab another running back in the 4th round or the 5th round to pair up with Gray? If you start thinking about it, if we got Gray, I'm not saying he's going to be an all-pro, Hall of Famer, but, looks like he could be a pretty darn decent running back. If we're going to try to maybe stay focused with him, why not grab another guy in the 4th round or the 5th round to pair up with him? 2 young stud running backs with a little bit of tread taken off the tires, right? I mean, you have these 2 guys going forward, and then you can, whoever you want to have as your third running back. I mean, see, that's the nice thing about what the Giants are doing. They're starting to, fill the team out, and the amount of big pieces that we need are starting to, dwindle down, right? We're starting, hopefully after we'll have a better picture of the way the Giants are going to go after the season's over. Like, what are we doing, like, with the offensive line? Did Azudu do enough this year? Is he going to become the left guard? We got Thomas. Is Azudu going to be the left guard? We know Michael Schmitz is the center. Evan Neal's the right tackle. What are we doing? Are we keeping Glowinski? We're going to let him go and have a little bit of dead money cap with him. Is Lemieux gone? Glowinski gone? Can we slide Bredesen over? Are we still going to be looking for that other guard? Are we going to keep Glowinski for the 3rd seed? I mean, the same thing with the cornerbacks, the slot cornerbacks. Who are we pairing up with McKinney? Are we going to keep McKinney next season? Right? Is if Saquon goes, and we might have to put the franchise tag on McKinney, and who are we going to pair with him? Do we like with the inside linebacker position? We got a Carrick for hopefully for 4 seasons. Do we have somebody? Especially that Davis is out for the season. Oh my goodness. Do we like who we're pairing up with the Carrick? Do we need somebody in the 3rd round? Pick somebody up maybe in the 3rd round. But I mean, if we could, if we can grab Gray in the 5th, why can't we grab another running back in the the 4th round or 5th round or so, right, to pair with him, right? Terrific, yeah, Henry, man, what a beast, what a man. Great, man. Yeah, I mean, brother, we've got oh yeah, of course we got holes, but I mean, the holes that we got. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that we'll start, chunking the holes down a little bit as far as what we had. I mean, or however many holes we had, like last season or so. Well, you're always going to have holes, but I mean, if like just talking about the running backs, I mean, we don't need to grab a running back in the 2nd round, the 1st round or so. I said if we got Gray in the 5th round last year or this season, next year coming up, hey, if Barkley's not going to be around, why can't we grab another running back in the 4th or 5th round and have 2 nice young babies in the backfield there? Right, it's still a rebuild. So then we added a coach. I like the I'll tell you what, this guy here. Let's see, where are we at here? There we go. Mike Adams. This guy, I tell you what, this guy played for a long time. Says the New York Giants are reportedly adding former Pro Bowl safety Mike Adams to their coaching staff for the upcoming season. The news comes from ESPN's Jordan Renan, and the hiring has since been confirmed by the team via press release stating Adams will be the new assistant special teams coach. Cool. Adams, 42, is out of Patterson, New Jersey, man. He's built for the Giants. I mean, that's right up there by Giant Stadium. A native who played his high school ball at Passaic County Tech in Wayne. And I actually had an aunt and uncle who lived in Wayne, New Jersey, before moving on to a collegiate career at the University of Delaware. Adams went undrafted in the 2004 NFL draft. I mean, to tell you, this guy played in 228 games, and he was undrafted over a 16-year career, beginning with San Francisco and ending in Houston. So he had stops in Cleveland, Denver, Indianapolis, and Carolina, and was named to the Pro Bowl 2 seasons, 2014 and 2015, as a member of the Colts. Adams has one year of coaching experience on his resume as an assistant defensive back coach with the Bears in 2021. So, I mean, let's see where we at here. There we go. I mean, he did pretty good. He played in a ton of snaps. He played in his career, not including special teams. He played in over 10,000 snaps in his career. He had a couple of really good seasons. 2007. I mean, according to Pro Football Focus as well, I'm going by, but they had his stats here. I mean, how many? He played 10,104 snaps, according to Pro Football Focus. But in 2007 with Cleveland, he graded out at 89. 2014 with the Colts, he graded out at 82. I mean, then he played a lot on special teams as well too. Let's see, special teams. So, there we go. Special teams. How many snaps did he play here? He played 679 career special team snaps. So he played on field goal block, punt coverage, kick coverage, kick return. I mean, he played a lot. Kick coverage, kick return, punt coverage, and field goal block. I mean, he played a lot. So he's got a lot of experience. And he's the assistant. So I really think that's a good hire for the Giants, especially since there's no salary cap on you can only spend $10 million on your coaches, or you can only have 5 So I think that's a good hire. He's going to add a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge to the coaching staff, which is great. Colts, yeah. Patterson, yeah, that's right up there. So I mean, he's right. I mean, he was born right by where the Giants play at. So, and then the Giants. Now this guy, you don't want to get too over the moon about Brandon Bryant, but they added some depth, right, at the defensive line. Now, once again, it's just this is just like a depth. Giants roster move, defensive tackle Brandon Bryant. They signed him per report. Giants have signed defensive tackle Brandon Bryant per ESPN's Jordan Renan. Bryant was originally signed by the Seattle Seahawks after the 2016 NFL draft as an undrafted free agent. He's bounced around the NFL and the CFL since, most recently spending the 2020 to 2022 seasons with the Buffalo Bills. A little connection there, right? The 6'3", 300-pound Bryant has appeared in 11 regular season games in the NFL and has 9 total tackles. All right. Bryant is the second defensive tackle the Giants have signed since June, adding Kobe Smith on June 15th. The Giants are clearly committed to adding to their defensive line, and the decision to add a pair of interior defensive linemen before training camp raises some questions, which is true here. Because we got 3 guys that are kind of a little up in the air as far as whether they're going to be able to start the season or not. So the chief thing among them is the health of the players on the roster. 3 defensive tackles, DJ Davidson, A'Shawn Robinson, and Vernon Butler were sidelined from minicamp. DJ Davidson, of course, he's recovering from his torn ACL, suffered a season ago. A'Shawn Robinson is still recovering from a torn meniscus suffered late in November of 2022. So, you're not exactly sure, what the timeline is there for him. But then, of course, Vernon Butler was sidelined and we undisclosed injury. So that you don't know. So, I mean, we're bringing in guys, it's kind of the same thing when we brought in Cole Beasley. Does that kind of, actually we let go, I think, Micah Parsons. And I think we're down to, does it say it here? Yes, it does. Corresponding moves. And making for the Bryant signing official Monday afternoon, the Giants announced that tight end Dre Miller and wide receiver Micah Parsons were waived. Miller had been on injured reserve. So now we're down to 14 wide receivers. Okay. But the thing is, kind of saying is like with the Cole Beasley signing, is that kind of like, okay, we're expecting, Sterling Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson maybe to start the season on the pup. Is that what we're looking at here? Is that why we brought in another slot receiver? So, but I mean, with Brandon Bryant here, I mean, once again, this is just from PFF. That's all I'm going by here. I mean, but it's not super spectacular. All right, so last season with the Bills, he was in 74 total snaps last season. I mean, he graded out a 32.7. So this is not end all be all, But if PFF has a guy graded at 32.7, there's a good chance he's not close to being an all-pro or anything. I mean, is he depth? Yep. Now, to be fair, all right, in 2021, he played 32 snaps. Okay, but PFF had him grading out at a 70.5. Now, this is kind of take it for whatever it's worth. 2020 with the Buffalo. All right. Once again, take it for what it's worth. He played in 7 snaps, but he graded out as 71.7. So, but that's only 7 snaps. His first season was with the Cleveland Browns in 2019. All right. He played in 42 snaps and he graded out at 56.5. So take that for what that's worth either. But I mean, last season with the Bills, as I said, he played 74 snaps, 41 snaps on run defense, and 33 for pass rush. So that's a 74. He graded at a 32.7. His run defense was a 31.4. His pass rush was a 53. So, I mean, once again, just take it for what it's worth. I mean, is the guy going to be some depth? Absolutely. He's a big guy, But once again, I mean, let's see here. Where the heck do I got this at here? I got it here somewhere. Oh, wait. I mean, the depth chart. Where is the depth chart? Here it is. There we go. I got 7,000 tabs open here. All right, so the depth chart. All right, so on a defensive line, right? So we got Leonard Williams, Sexy Dexy, A'Shawn Robinson, Raheem Nunez, or Nacho, right? DJ Davidson, Ryder Anderson. Now, Ryder's healthy, right? Ryder beefed up. Ryder's up around 300 pounds now. So Ryder put on some good quality weight. So let's hope Ryder does well. Kobe Smith, okay, Jordan Riley, right, who we drafted, Vernon Butler, but once again, he's had the undisclosed injury, so you don't know if and when he'll be able to play this season, right? And then we just got Brandon Bryant. So we have 10 guys on the defensive line, but once again, 3 of them have been off to the sideline, with injuries. So that leaves you, if none of those guys can participate in training camp right away, that leaves you with 7 guys. Okay. We're not going to have 7 guys on the 53-man roster. I mean, they might bring in, I'm thinking maybe 4, 5 guys on the defensive line, not including like the edge rushers and all of that. So, so I mean, between Sexy Dexy, Leonard Williams, Robinson's hurt. We got Nunez Roaches, and quite possibly Ryder Anderson. That's 4 guys right there. Maybe Jordan Riley. We see if he can maybe make it. So, but I mean, once again, with Brandon Bryant, he's just some quality, just some depth, just to bring in. Nothing to get too excited about. Some beef on those. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Wink needs these big interior defensive line. He's about 300 pounds. So he's a big guy. I mean, plus, once again, they're familiar with him, right? Because he spent 3 seasons. Well, Shane and Dable weren't there last season, but he spent 2020, 2021 with Shane and Dable in Buffalo. So they are familiar with him. Once again, I mean, you got to look out, They took some dude named, Hodgins, right? They did pretty well with him last season. So, hey, anything's possible. But I mean, also you got to wait things out. He didn't play a lot in 4 seasons. He didn't play a lot. So he's not banged up, but I mean, if you play 4 seasons and you don't even get 100 snaps in any one of the seasons, but I mean, he's some depth. So you got to have that, right? We need those big interior defensive line for that scheme to wrap up the O-line. Oh yeah. Well, that's the one thing. I mean, with the carrot cake, because you want him free, right? So I mean, if Sexy Dexy's got to take on 2 tackles or 2 blockers, right, and Leonard Williams is going to get maybe 1 or 2, or what, or we got somebody on the nose, in there instead of Sexy Dexy. Wait, hold on, I got to move the chair. Sorry, buddy, my dog's here. He likes to get involved in the videos here too. But I mean, to have a Karake run free, I mean, that's going to be huge. That's really, really going to be huge. Mike linebackers love that. you know. So, and then it's also going to be, I mean, it's going to be, there's a lot of interesting things because like the way the Wicks defense is, you know, who's going to be in there next to Karake, right? But then again, who's going to be in there next to Karake, but then also what's the percentage of the times we're going to have two inside linebacker, interior, inside, middle linebacker, whatever you want to call them, you know, on the field at the same time, you know. Yeah, Karake is going to be on there. Maybe 100%, right? So I mean, who makes it? You know, can McFadden step up? You know, Wicks said he's been doing pretty good. Can Darian Beavers? I heard there was a podcast, Big Blue Kickoff Live. John Schmeltz said he was talking with Darian Beavers, and he said that dude's freaking fit to be tied. He's ready to go out there and start playing some football. So that's good to hear. That's good to hear because he looked really, really positive. You know, having a good training camp last season. Then of course he wound up getting hurt. You know, would you bring back Martinez? I tell you what, I don't even know if Martinez even want. I mean, that dude's making like $11.5 million selling Pokemon cards. I mean, I don't even know if he didn't want to come back. Man, that was one of those. It's just kind of like, isn't that funny? Isn't that weird? Well, freaking good for him, man. Good for him. Nobody wants you or whatever. That was just so weird. It's like he led the team in tackle. Well, he got injured, right? And then he came back, and then they just kind of, I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things too. You're never going to know. Well, Joe Shane, what did you say to? Well, I recorded everything I said to him. This is where our conversation was when I was telling him that or this is what Wicks said to him that we're probably not going to need him, But it just kind of makes you scratch your head. It's like, we let him go if he's healthy. If like he got injured against the Falcons, the one time, but the year before that, he was a tackling machine. So our problem last year a lot on defense was, the linebackers, were getting like consumed, right, by the offensive line. They couldn't get off their blocks, and therefore we had a lot of big holes, a lot of big running lanes for the other team, and the other teams just exploited us and shoot up a bunch of rushing yards on us. And so we our linebackers, couldn't get the job done. Well, you had somebody who was able to get the job done, and you just let him go. I don't know. I mean, maybe he wasn't fully healed. I mean, maybe he wasn't himself. I mean, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of weird. I mean, he was kind of like on top of his game. He got injured, tried to come back, and then you retire. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, he was a decent quality, backer. I mean, made tackles. That was one thing our interior, our middle linebackers, whatever, had a hard time with last year, making tackles. I mean, but I don't know. That's just one of those things. He hates stuff like that. It's kind of like, hey, we let him go. And why'd you let him, exactly why'd you let him go? Some things like that you're never, ever going to know about. It's a shame. As I said, I don't even know if he'd want to come back. I think last I saw, I think it was on Facebook. He was making like $11.5 million selling Pokemon cards. I mean, well, once again, good for him. Well, it's been 48, almost 49 minutes. Jersey guys, always, thank you so much. Great talking to you. I'll be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow's training camp, but I think it's like, I don't know, it's like weigh-ins or physicals and stuff like that. So I don't think they're going to be on the field, I think, until Wednesday, I think. I mean, I certainly could be wrong. You know what I mean? So, but tomorrow, it starts. I mean, as I said, I don't know if they're going to be on the field much or anything. I don't know. But tomorrow, the vets showing up. So it's on, right? Before you know it, we're going to be kicking off against those Dallas Cowboys. So whoever spent any time at all listening to me, thank you. Whoever spends any time watching and replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!